You knew better. You were better trained than any of those officers out there.
For a total sentence in this case of 12 years, 6 months, and 8 days in the Florida Department of Corrections.
Some judges just rip apart into police officers, but knowing the terrible things they did. Just like in these instances where these power-tripping cops were taken to the cleaners by these honest judges. In 2018, Jackson County Sheriff Deputy Zachary Wester pulled over a woman for a minor traffic infraction, but soon he started to search the vehicle and made a shocking revelation.
2558.
Oh, okay, but do you have anything on your person?
I have nothing on me to my knowledge at all.
All right.
I'm not trying to be ugly.
It did return presumptive positive from okay? I'm just letting you know. Okay.
This woman was shocked to find out the narcotics were inside her vehicle, as she had never used it. What she didn't know was that the deputy himself had planted them there.
Look, I just got pulled over in Cottondale, all right? I had went down to see George because I had a bad check that was given to me by somebody who was living at 8 Dots. I come through the light, I get pulled over. All right, the deputy asked if he could search my truck. I told him, yes, he may search my truck. I'm sitting on the bumper right now. He goes in the passenger side, he sees, I don't know, God knows what, he goes around to the other side, truck going on open, and he comes back with a spoon, which is what I use to eat my yogurt with, and in the spoon, there is laying a little bitty, like, I guess a little tiny bag. He says it tests positive for methamphetamine. So I guess I'm gonna go to jail, and it damn sure ain't mine, and nobody's been in my truck but me. My cup, please don't lose my cup.
Put it in the car for you.
It doesn't lock.
Well, this was the moment Deputy Wester was caught for the first time. Later in 2020, the deputy was charged with over 60 counts of drug trafficking and racketeering. It was discovered that he had planted narcotics in the cars of over 20 innocent people who had done nothing wrong. The corrupt deputy was eventually found guilty in court for his crimes.
State of Florida versus Zachary Tyler Wester, case number 19-CF-431. We, the jury, find as follows as to the counts charged in the information. Count 1. Guilty of racketeering as charged. Count 2, not guilty. Count 3, not guilty. Count 4, not guilty. Count 5, not guilty. Count 41, guilty of possession of controlled substance related to February 15, 2018, as charged. Count 42, not guilty. Count 43, not guilty. Count 44, guilty of possession of a controlled substance related to April 17, 2018, as charged.
After being charged for 19 of the 67 charges, justice surely was served, and eventually the judge came forward and delivered a well-needed sentence to the disgraced former cop.
You as follows in this case. As to count 1, racketeering, which is a first-degree felony, you are sentenced to serve 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. As to count 7, official misconduct, as a third-degree felony, you are sentenced to serve 18 months in the Florida Department of Corrections. That will be served concurrent with count 1. As to count 9, official misconduct, as a third-degree felony, you are sentenced to serve 1 year and 1 day in the Florida Department of Corrections, consecutive to count 64. Counts 7, 9, 10, 31, 33, 34, 41, 44, 48, 64, and 65 are to be served consecutive to each other for a total sentence in this case of 12 years, 6 months, and 8 days in the Florida Department of Corrections. This sentence of 12 years, 6 months, and 8 days in the Florida Department of Corrections is to run concurrent with a 5-year Department of Corrections sentence in count 1. Therefore, it is the intention of the court that you are sentenced to serve a total of 12 years, 6 months, and 8 days in the Florida Department of Corrections. I'm also going to award the defendant 58 days jail credit as to count 1 and count 7, as count 7 is the first sentence served by the defendant in a series of consecutive sentences.
Wester was sentenced to 12 years in prison and continues to serve his time in the Jackson County Correctional Facility, as he has close to 0 chances of parole. While this cop was corrupt, watch how this next officer ended his career with one bad move. In October 2019, Newark police officer Sanchez pulled over a vehicle for speeding, but she had no clue how things would escalate madly from there.
Turn off the vehicle. Turn off the vehicle. Turn it off. Turn off the car. Turn off the car. Sir, turn off the vehicle. Turn off the vehicle, sir. Turn off the car and roll down the window. Open the door. Give me that other unit. Open the window. Open the door.
What's up?
I got a 646. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Hands. Hands on the wheel. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands.
The driver, later identified as Gregory Griffin, looked intoxicated and refused to comply with Officer Sanchez. Backup had started to arrive, and that's when the individual did something crazy.
On the wheel. The car's off. Be advised, the vehicle took off.
While the cops were in pursuit, it was Officer Giovanni Crespo who was running and attempted to fire at the fleeing car. Fortunately, no damage was done here, but the rookie cop would make a similar mistake again.
It should be under his leg.
Does anybody fires a weapon here?
No, here, not here.
Delta 91 go.
Did you shoot?
No, I didn't shoot. Who shot?
Who shot?
Crespo shot. Crespo shot. No, they shot. Crespo shot, and they're gone.
Crespo's colleagues couldn't believe what he had done, as there was no need to shoot like this. The reckless cop ended up murdering Griffin, and the innocent passenger was also shot and injured.
Pennsylvania and Thomas is where I pulled them over. No.
Was that a motor vehicle stop or
Yes.
was that a foot chase?
No, motor vehicle stop. I pulled them over.
Okay. Who you with?
By myself.
Okay.
Ours going down Pennsylvania. It was going way too fast, so I
Did you have you pulled it over as a 521?
pulled it over as a traffic stop.
Okay.
Just as a traffic stop. Just because he was going too fast.
Okay.
I got behind him on Pennsylvania and Thomas at the red light. I was waiting for the light to turn green. I thought he was going to pull over right on Pennsylvania. He kept going down Thomas right on that little curb on Thomas. Pulled over right in front of the church. I got out, told him to turn off the car. He keeps telling me why do I need to turn off the car? So I'm like, turn off the car. There's 646, I got a man with a gun. The Delta unit puts up Moss and his partner. So I tell him he's got a gun, so they're like, Val, get him out. I go to open the door doesn't open, so I go in to open it from the inside, and he takes off.
Where's your car?
503, I was driving 503.
All right, let's see your car.
The situation quickly overwhelmed Crespo, causing him to panic and fire his weapon multiple times. He was later terminated from the police department and criminally charged with aggravated manslaughter and aggravated assault. Eventually, Crespo was found guilty by the jury, and this is what his teary-eyed mother said before the sentence was announced.
When I got to Giovanni, I made a promise to his mom that Giovanni was going to be the best that he could be. And she wanted me to raise him the right way, and I did my best.
I would just like to apologize for the event that occurred, to the victims, to my family that I put through, everybody that been going through hard times because of this. I took a chance at a job where it's life or death every day. And the thin blue line really is just the line.
Crespo was sentenced to 27 years in prison, allowing the victim's family to finally breathe a sigh of relief. Moving on, watch how this crooked cop was sentenced in court for stealing taxpayers' money.
The damage that you have caused to the citizens of Pike County, to law enforcement.
Pike County Sheriff Charlie Reeder was charged with theft and tampering with evidence when he was caught stealing thousands of dollars to support his gambling addiction. Watch how the sheriff eventually owned up to his mistake in court.
I stand here before you today to take accountability for my actions. As a sheriff of Ohio, I shed, excuse me, I shed bad light on the office of sheriff. For this, I am terribly sorry. If I could go back and change it, I would 1,000,000 times.
There's another box of Kleenex.
For this is not who I am. I have and I now pray that the court will find mercy on me. And I beg the court, if they see fit, to grant me community control. I am a good person who made bad decisions and choices.
Sheriff Reeder wasn't sorry because of his actions, but simply because he was caught. And at this point, he just hoped his fake tears and apology could persuade the judge to reduce his sentence.
I'm asking all this so that I have the opportunity to watch my son graduate from high school. My daughter, who's getting married in October, so that I can be there for her. And my wife, so that I can be a husband that I haven't been in 25 years due to my career. Your Honor, please do not send me to prison. I have roamed, but I'm not ruined. I still have a lot of good left in me.
Despite his desperate pleas, the judge wasn't swayed. She firmly called out the corrupt sheriff, tearing into him for his actions and the disgrace he brought upon himself.
And is on everyone's mind, I'm assuming, is, I guess, why did you take the money?
I took the money, and mind you, this does not excuse it, but from drug dealers that took it from parents of very poor people in this county.
You've been in law enforcement for 24 years. We all choose our profession, and we have to conduct ourselves with integrity so that everyone trusts us. It cannot be underestimated the damage that you have caused to the citizens of Pike County, to law enforcement who every day get up, face the same sort of stresses that you do. They go all home at night, they get up in the morning. The sacrifices that these men and women make, I think you made a mock.
Reeder was eventually sentenced to 6.5 years in prison concurrently, but he would actually have to spend only 3 years in prison. While this cop got exactly what he deserved, watch how the next tyrant officer made the biggest mistake of his life and got punished in court.
In your city, you caused your lovely wife heartache, and you caused Mr. Dent severe anguish.
In January 2015, Inkster police officer William Melendez pulled over motorist Floyd Dent for a traffic infraction. But as the situation escalated, what Melendez did next was both shocking and utterly unjustifiable. Melendez lost his cool and punched Dent 14 times, indicating a bizarre use of force. Soon after, he was found guilty and fired from his position. Not only this, but he was criminally charged. And during his sentencing hearing, Judge Vonda Evans took him to the cleaners.
His hands extended out of his driver's window. He was grabbed out, thrown to the ground, and struck 16 times in the head by the defendant. In his attempt to arrest him, he was thrown onto a window shield of a patrol car, bleeding profusely from a head injury. The responding police officers arrived as the defendant is wrestling the defendant to the ground. Mr. Dent was struck, kicked, and tased while on the ground by what appeared to be a group of angry, anxious police officers that celebrated after the defendant was beaten.
As the body cam video was muted, the judge told the entire courtroom how the officers had shockingly celebrated the brutal beating instead of showing any remorse.
Video in the car shows the police officers fist bumping as a celebratory act of bravery by the defendant and his cohorts. But the one image that struck out to the court was looking at Mr. Dent in his cell, shaking his head. Conduct was indicative of what he was thinking. I would have thought this: what crime did I commit? Being a black man in a Cadillac, stopped for a minor traffic offense by a group of racist police officers looking to do it. At least give me the satisfaction of knowing that you're out there beating up right now. LOL. How humiliating and degrading that must have been. He was left in a cell for a number of hours before getting medical treatment.
This racist and careless behavior was depressing and shocking for Judge Vonda Evans, who was surely left shocked by the aftermath of the arrest.
He was left in a cell for a number of hours before getting medical treatment. But after hearing the defendant and his fellow officers joke about his injuries as they were wiping blood off their uniforms with disinfectant. 2015. Please be quiet in my courtroom. Field training, the recruit gets a reality check of what it's like to be out in the city. They then begin to shy away from what they've learned in the academy, and automatically they become a prototype of really who trains them. It's horrible, and it's worse than when cities that lack resources to properly train its new and existing officers with methods to combat this culture and adopt new ways to handle the stress of the job.
Rather than simply condemning the incident, the judge went further, explaining the deeper reasons behind such police behavior and emphasizing the urgent need for long-term reforms to prevent tragedies like this from happening again.
6 months police academy for most cities, long hours, horrible pay. I was out at a mall yesterday. I asked a woman a question. I said, you don't have to answer. How much do you get paid an hour? She said $15 with benefits. Well, guess what? That's more than what Inkster gets. They don't get benefits. The equipment, the police cars are old. No support services for stress. No mandatory counseling for police officers. We rather put money in technology by buying bait cars and surveillance cameras. But that doesn't reduce crime. It doesn't deter it. Properly trained police officers do. Job is made worse because they see on a daily basis, more than any other occupation, the worst behavior that people can inflict on one another. They go to work every day with the knowledge that some of the people that they are sworn to protect and serve want to kill them.
The judge delivered powerful and necessary remarks, highlighting the poor pay of many officers and stressing that the entire policing system is in dire need of an overhaul.
They get paid worse than security guards at malls, who's the worst crime that can be committed is shoplifting. Many times people say, well, you know, if you can't handle the stress of the job, then you need to take these officers off the street. We, as a community, expect superior services from police officers who are making security guard salaries to receiving little compensation and struggling just to pay health care.
Despite the flaws within the department and the system itself, there was absolutely no justification for Officer Melendez's actions. Shortly after, the judge turned her attention back to him, ready to deliver the sentence.
And there's the purpose of this long, protracted sentencing was to offer you the one thing that this court believed you didn't give Mr. Dent: fairness and due process. 28, 2015, you did not fulfill your job. You performed just us. A game that began with a police stop. The purpose of it was to harass and degrade a motorist in Inkster. The man chosen for your game was Floyd Dent, a black man. The game went like this. Let's follow a car in a known drug area, and based on your years of training experience, you knew that the motorist would likely be a black person.
Melendez showed no remorse for his actions as he sat through the entire proceedings without displaying any emotions whatsoever.
Mr. Dent put his hands out of the driver's window in plain view. Your partner and you pulled him out. When he didn't move fast enough for you, you refer to it as resisting. I call it bowing down to your command. You utilized your dirty, hairy tactics and used excessive force to arrest him. Your job was twofold: investigate the situation, be a positive example to Officer Zelenowski. When your posse arrived and recording this disgusting beating, seeing Mr. Dent slammed into the window shield with blood running down his face, the dash cam that was designed to protect you ended up being what convicted you. Fist busting after taking him down as a sign of bravery was just another cowardly act caught by the eye of justice. You knew better. You were better trained than any of those officers out there.
After delivering her powerful and much-needed speech, the judge finally announced the sentence for the power-tripping officer.
In your city, you caused your lovely wife heartache, and you caused Mr. Dent severe anguish. I am going to commit you to the Michigan Department of Corrections. The Department of Corrections, as to count one, for no less than 13 months, no more than 10 years. As to count two, I'm going to give you 90 days credit for time served and close it out. The court's going to give you 85 days for credit. You have 42 days to appeal my decision. That concludes this matter. Thank you.
Officer Melendez was only sentenced to 13 months, which felt like a slap on the wrist, and he may have received leniency due to his status as a former cop. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today we saw cases where judges didn't hold back against dirty cops and took them to the cleaners while sentencing them to prison. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to watch how these corrupt police officers were held accountable and punished in court.
Can you call PD for me?
Don't you touch me.
Don't you touch me, sir.
Now I'm confused again. Originally asked if
this tragic loss of my husband has devastated me in every way.
I mean, not just my family, I think both family lost a lot.